What we're going into.
And so there comes a point where now physically your performance levels are almost zero. It's like you're just running on fumes, right? And so what's got to take over is this.
So I think basically this is like the toughest selection course in the world for the military.
Right, which is this and this. And so this is where guys break down. This is where guys quit. This is where guys fail. They don't make the time anymore. They got nothing left in the tank and they just can't make it over the finish line. Some guys just quit psychologically. It's just too much. And the funny thing about this particular selection program, unlike any other in the world, and I will argue, although I've never gone through BUDS, I will say that ours is by far the most challenging.
BUDS is the Navy SEALs selection course. It's called BUDS.
Selection.
Which is easy to remember because you just think SUDS, which are little bubbles, and the Navy's in the water. So the SEALs are in the water. So BUDS and SUDS. There you go. You're welcome.
Course in the world, bar none. And so what happens is you get there, immediately you're assigned a color number. They never call you by your name. And every day they give you a new color number, right? So, and it's kind of weird, right? They don't.
Oh, that's weird.
They don't have a personal conversation with you. They don't talk to you. They don't smile. They don't frown at you. It's like robots.
You guys have no idea what
No, you don't know the standards of
Yeah,
performance
that's
or
what he
anything,
said.
right?
Yeah.
And in fact, you get all your instructions like on a whiteboard. Okay, every morning you better read the whiteboard. Okay, it tells you where to be, when to be, or the night before it tells you what time to be in formation in the morning, what equipment list you have to have. So there's almost like no interaction with the cadre.
Mm-hmm.
And even when they're around, it's like they're robots. And how do I know that? Because I was cadre a couple of times as well, so I know the shtick, right?
Cadre means you were in charge. A cadre is an instructor. So in the military, your basic training instructors are called instructors, but for something special or for kind of going down a special route, instead of instructors, they're called cadre. So if you go through, let's say the ranger, if you want to be a ranger, the instructors there are cadre. Green Berets, cadre, versus like medic. If I was going to medic school, it would be an instructor. So it's a little bit of a different, they're both still instructors, but they're different. So if you hear cadre, just that's what that means. It's an instructor.
And there's a reason to do that, right? There's a reason to do that because some guys want to go, they want to become familiar with instructors so they're more comfortable in this environment. They're looking for some type of encouragement, if you will,
feed
right?
off them a bit.
Yeah, a little bit, right? And if this guy's not talking to you, you feel alone except for the group that you're with. And then, look, the group that you're with, this is not a team effort. They're not like, hey, we're going to all make this. They don't care if you make it or not because every man is in it for himself, right? He wants to make it. And he knows that he doesn't have time to hold your hand through selection, and call you and, let you cry on the shoulder. It's like, it's an individual effort. The whole thing's an individual effort. Unlike, I like beating up on the SEALs, going through, BUDS, right? They go through as a group. You've seen all the videos. They're running down the beach carrying a boat,
who's
yelling
carrying the
horns.
boat?
Which makes sense because they're called like SEAL. It's called SEAL Team 6, right? It's SEAL Team this, SEAL Team that. So during like that selection, you want everybody to go through struggles as a team and fight it out together as a team and overcome things as a team versus this is individual selection. So a little bit, it is different. It's different.
Screaming and rolling around the sand and getting wet and shaking, but they do it as a group, right? And so, and here's the thing with that, right? So as a group, you can draw strength from the other guys, right? So let's just say, you see Joe Snuffy over there and he's smaller than you and he's kind of a weakling, you think he's weaker than you, but you see him hanging in there. It's like, well, I ain't quitting before he quits, so you're more empowered to keep going, right? Because you don't want to be that guy that fell out first. And then you see other guys, go, yeah, that guy's pretty badass, so you follow his lead, do what he does. So by following the group, you increase your chances of success, right? There's a term for it. It's called mirroring, right? So basically you mirror after other people. And so you kind of draw inspiration, encouragement from them, right? Delta selection that doesn't happen. And what happens is, here's how it normally breaks down. You sign a color number. You're told where to be, when to be there. They put you in the back of a truck with covers. You don't even, so you're driving. You don't even know where the hell you're at, where you're going. It's a covered truck. You can't see outside. Next thing you know, you're in the middle of.
All right, so just think about that for a second. Think about that. Everybody wants to go and like be in the Delta if they're in special forces, which I'm prior Air Force. I say special forces. I mean anything special because we kind of just have the PJs. In the Army, though, special forces is an actual group. I believe it refers to the Green Berets, but like Green Berets, Army, SEALs, most of them want to, like, they look up to Delta, right? You will never see a Delta go apply to be a SEAL or go try to be a Green Beret or go try to be a Ranger. All those people are trying to get to this super elite group. So imagine being super high speed, wanting to go to the next step. You're thrown in a van and you're not told anything. You don't see anything, so you don't know what to expect, but you know it's intense. Psychologically, that is just so tough.
Woods somewhere in the mountains. They tell you to get off. And again, with a very straight face, they'll tell you, okay, Blue 22, your coordinates are underneath that rock over there, right? And there's a piece of paper in there, a 5x5 card, 7 card, or whatever. And you look at it and you plot your coordinates on your map. Okay, I'm here, and this is where I'm going. And then you walk up to the sergeant.
Said, I think that's just kidnapping.
Say, Sergeant, this is where I'm located, and this is where I'm going. And he'll look at you with a very straight face. And he'll say, okay, have a good one. Well, Sergeant, how much time do I have? Do the best you can. Okay, but Sergeant, do the best you can. Have a good one.
Oh my God, that's so scary. The Air Force has a 24 Special Tactics Squadron? Really? We do? Let's go. That's so cool. I have no idea what they do, but it's called Special and Tactics. Air Force got something. That's good. That's crazy though, because for a lot of selection courses, your ruck, which is where you have to carry a big bag and you have to like run as fast as you can. You know, they'll say you need to complete 20 miles or 50 miles or 1,000 miles or however many miles under 4 hours, 2 hours, 6 hours, you know. But to be told you have to go find these coordinates in the middle of the woods, which is probably, I don't know, it could be like a stick in the ground. It could be a ribbon around a tree in a forest. And you're trying out for this and you don't know the time you have to make in order to pass. That is so scary. I would be sweating. 1,000 miles in 4 hours, probably.
Those are the only things you're gonna get out of them. Nothing else. Nothing else. You know, nothing else, right? It's like, and you're looking at it and the guy's not smiling, he's just looking at you with a straight face, right? And and so you're like, okay, do the best I can. So you don't know what the standard is for performance. So if you want to make it, you do the best you can. And so you literally take off, run through the freaking woods, right? You're not allowed to use trails or roads or anything like that. And then, you know, you're literally orienteering for miles and miles and miles. And then you make it to your next rendezvous point. And you run in there, and there's a cadre sitting there, and you're like, Sergeant, Blue 22 reporting. All right, Blue 22, your next coordinate's under that rock over there. So you go over there, and you write them all down. You come up to him, and he goes, okay, Blue 22, show me where you are, where you going to, where you came from. Okay, Sergeant, this is where I'm at, this is where I came from, and this is where I'm going. And he'll verify it, and he'll look at it. And why does he do that, right? He could not do it. And then if we lose you, now we got to do a search and rescue mission, right? We got to find a lost candidate. It's probably somewhere within 3 states. And so I've had to do.
Can you imagine being so bad at land nav that they have to do a search and rescue because you got lost? This is why there's the joke about lieutenants being lost. If you guys don't know anything about the military, right, there's enlisted and there's officers, right? And officers have, you know, you're an officer. When you join the military, you're an O2. You're a second lieutenant, right? And then you're a first lieutenant. So it goes 2-1, right? And there's a joke about officers always being lost. And I swear, that is just too funny. Oh,
do
God.
that. It sucks.
Search
Looking
and
for
rescue,
a guy. Oh
I'd
my
be so
God, because we
embarrassed.
literally fly out in a helicopter, Black Hawk. And a lot of times you have to use a jungle penetrator. If you think back in Vietnam, it's a, I don't even know how to describe it. Basically, there's a hoist, and you have this little, like, it's like a bobbin on the bottom, and it's got these little, like, improvised little seats that come out, just a little paddle, right? And you kind of straddle that thing and you hang on to it, and they lower you down. And then when you hit the ground, you get to Canada, you set him on there, you put his rucksack on there, and then you send him up, and then they send it down, you get back on yourself, and then they send it, and they pull you up.
And just so you guys understand, the rucks that you have to carry, from what I understand, they can range anywhere from 60 to 80 pounds. So when you hear ruck, think 60 to 80 pounds that you're carrying on your back.
And it's basically for rescuing people, right? Like especially in dense jungle or forest, stuff like that. And I never have good experiences with that, because the problem is when they lower you down into a tree, you know, the static electricity builds up in the rotors. And so, yeah, now, God forbid your leg or something touches a tree on the way down. Holy hell, it's like getting kicked by a mule, man, right in your ass. Like, ah. Yeah, you're taking a brunt of that energy right at the butt, you know. Then you're mad at that guy because you had to go get him, right? And but anyways, they don't want to lose you, is what it comes down to. And
yeah,
so
it's a lot of work to find you.
Okay, good coordinators, and he'll look at you, and go, have a good one. Sorry, how much time do I have? Do the best you can. I'm like, fuck, you know, same old story, right? And you just keep going and going. There's no end in sight. They don't tell you when you're done. Okay, today you're just going to do this. No, they're just like, just keep going. We'll tell you when you're done. And you just go. And so you do the best you can. What does that mean? You push yourself. You just push yourself, because you know you can't lollygag. You can't take your time, because if you know you don't know what the time standard is.
No lollygagging.
You know, if you move too slow, you might not make the standard, and you get kicked out of the course, right? So everybody pushes themselves.
You move too slow, but you also don't know how to pace yourself. If you're about to go do 50 miles of something, and each time they tell you do your best, you're probably going to sprint. But you don't know when. Everybody has a personal burnout time, right? When they start to get a little bit slower, things start to feel a little bit heavier. You know, you might get a little bit more confused. So it's like, do it fast, but pace yourself. But I don't know. This is terrible. Why am I here? Oh my God.
But it's by design. So every day you're pushing yourself, and you're pushing yourself. And then, you know, somewhere deep into the course, you're physically just wrecked. You know, you got blisters all over your feet, you know, from walking in the rain and, you know, in wet jungle boots, and walking through the creeks and streams. You know, walking up and down hills, your feet are sliding inside your boots. You know, so your feet are like hamburger, hurts. You know, your knees are shot, your legs are shot, your back is shot, everything's just shot. You're soaking wet every day, you're freezing, or you know, it's snowing on you. And physically you just wrecked. And so there comes a point where now physically your performance levels are almost zero. It's like you're just running on fumes, right? And so what's got to take over is this, right? Which is this and this. And so this is where guys break down. This is where guys quit. This is where guys fail. They don't make the time anymore. They got nothing left in the tank, and they just can't make it over the finish line. Some guys just quit psychologically. It's just too much. And
that's a lot.
You know, and I don't mind telling people the story. I mean, I had one of those moments, right?
I was going to ask, when did you know that you
had I had one of those moments, man. And let me tell you, I was in the best shape of my life. Man, I was in the best shape of my life. My resting heart rate was about 50. I could run like a bat out of hell.
Resting heart rate 50. That is impressive. Okay, so for you guys that don't know, I'd say average adult heart rate in the military that's decently fit would be anywhere from like 70 to 80, maybe. Anything above 100 is like not good. Anything too low is not good. However, if your heart is a muscle, right? I'm going to explain this like very quickly. That's a super healthy heart, and I'll explain why. If you are not really doing any cardio, not really, you know, getting any exercise, your heart rate's probably going to be pumping about 75, 80 beats, maybe 85 beats per minute, okay? When you work out, your heart beats faster, right? Your heart beats faster because you're working out. You need more oxygen. You need to move your blood. You're doing activities, right? Like that's kind of, you know, normal. When your heart is used to working out, it gets stronger, right? Just like your muscles get stronger. If I were to go pick up 20 pounds today and start curling them, it'd be tough. But if I do that every day for months, they'll start to get easier. You guys probably know that. Men naturally have a stronger upper body. Easy peasy. Your heart is the same way. You keep running, you keep putting stress, you keep having blood pump, your heart will get stronger. So because it's used to pumping really hard, that's going to get easier. And then when you're relaxed and someone takes your heart rate, it doesn't have to pump as hard because it's so much stronger. So instead of like a normal push, it kind of softens up, and it softens up even more. So the more you run, the more fit you are. When you're not working out, your heart rate's just going to be chilling because it's so strong. It's just kind of like, yeah, I'm pumping, I'm moving throughout the entire body, and this is easy for me. Versus if you don't work out, like 75, 80 is probably your normal. Sorry, I did a little bit of a medic thing there, but just so you guys know, 50 is crazy because I think 45, if you're anywhere close to 45, that's scary, scary, scary low. I think he said.
Like my resting heart rate was about 50. I could run like
insane.
a bat out of hell. I could carry look, I weighed 164 pounds. My training rucksack was 82 pounds. That's what I trained with every day. And I carried it like a t-shirt, no problem, right?
Golly.
I was in great shape, best shape of my life, man. I trained like a madman for this thing. And I hit a point on one particular day, almost towards the end of the course, and I didn't know it was almost the end of the course. So you don't know when it's over, right? But later on, I realized, damn, I was only like 2 days out. And I was crossing this. On this particular day, we didn't get maps. In the morning, they had a big map posted and with an area on it. And they were like, okay, here's a piece of typing paper. Here's a pencil. And you got 5 minutes to make a sketch map using this big old topo map, right? So you're like, shit, right? So what you do is, north seek an arrow, make sure you got that on there first, and then start writing, drawing the major terrain features, MSRs or roads, things like that, right? Hilltops, prominent terrain features. You got 5 minutes to do this, so you need to get the general stuff first. And so you map this thing out on a piece of typing paper, and that's your map of the day. And I remember, man, it rained every day. It was freezing rain, just freezing rain every day. It's like I swam through the whole damn course, And on this particular day, I was pretty physically just beat up pretty bad. And I mean, I turned some good times, even though I don't know what the standard was. You can kind of compare yourself to other guys based on every day who's left. And the reason you know who's left is because what they do is once you're done, they take you to a base camp. And usually they might start off with 3 base camps, and then it ends up being 2 base camps. Oh. It ends up being 1 base camp with with guys that are left,
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you run across guys out there.
Oh, because it'd be like, let's say you start off with, 75 people. So you have 3 camps, 25 each, and then 20 drops. So then you have 50 people, then 25 each, and then lower. Okay, I'm tracking.
The field, cross paths, So you can kind of get a sense where where you are as far as your, performance wise. And so I felt like I was doing pretty good. I mean, I turned some quick times, some really good times. I could do 18 miles with 45 pounds, combat boots after a 5-event physical fitness test at night with a weapon, no water. Water wasn't included in the weight yet. And I could do 18 miles in 2 hours and 53 minutes.
Yes!
That's smoking, man. That's smoking. And so, I turned some pretty incredible times. And when you're in the infantry and when you do what I did,
I just noticed the cupcake right here. I'm gonna move myself for a second. Hang on. Do you guys see the little cupcake in the corner? What is going on? I just noticed that. Oh my God. That's funny. That caught me off guard for a second. Those times are insane. That is a wow. Yeah.
Jeez. Times. You know how fast you can run a 2-miler. You know how fast you can do 18. You know how fast you can do 12. Right? Because you're doing quite a bit.
You think it's 5 nights at Freddy's?
So I knew that. I'm kicking ass. If I'm doing 18 miles in less than 2 hours and 53 minutes, I'm doing something right. So it was on this particular day. It's raining. I'm soaking wet, and I remember crossing this farm field, and I'm up to my knees in mud, like literally just mired in mud. And
Oh, that can't be
you know,
right.
you imagine you're literally sunk down to your knees in mud. You're trying to pull your legs up. You got a rucksack on your back, and you're trying to slog across this big old farm field. It's pouring rain. It's foggy. You can't see anything more than maybe 50 to 100 yards in front of you. And I remember I just bogged down. It's like I was just so exhausted physically. I remember pulling my map out, you know, and my typing paper turned into toilet tissue, and it was wet. And I was like, you know, trying to orient it, you know. And I said, okay. I said, somewhere there in that fog, there's a mountain or hilltop. I got to go up that thing. And there's another rendezvous point up there. I got to get up to that thing, you know. And then I sat there, and I couldn't move my legs. And I thought, man, you know, and then that's when I started breaking down mentally, you know, because physically I just had nothing left in me, man, nothing. And I just stood there and I contemplated, you know, I started getting depressed, you know, and I almost started crying like a little girl, you know. And
And one of the biggest things I didn't expect when I joined the military, and everyone experiences this if you join the military in basic training, it's even worse if you go through something special like this, is imagine you're a marathon runner, right? And you're training for this marathon. And you're like, all right, the night before, I'm going to eat all this good food. I'm going to get some good sleep. I'm going to really take care of myself. That is a luxury that in the military you don't get. That is not what you get. You eat what they give you. You have water, and sleep is not a thing. So you might hear people like, oh, we had to wake up every day and we had to run and work out. But also remember, it's not like if I wanted to go run let's say I wanted to run around noon every day, you know, if I was feeling tired, I didn't get a lot of sleep, I probably wouldn't want to go do it. Be like, oh, I'm too tired. I don't really want to do this. Versus doing all of this and then not having much sleep. It is a huge mental breaker. It is a type of exhaustion you don't know until you meet it. And then you get to know it and you get to understand how you are when you're exhausted and doing all this shift work. Yeah, very similar, especially those that have to do, you know, labor intensive stuff, things like that.
and I think, man, you know what? Screw this. I quit, man. I'm just going to drink the whiskey, you know. What am I doing here? You know, you start questioning everything, man, because that's what happens, right? That no matter how strong you are, that's what happens. And they know that.
That's what they want.
They know that, right? And so I'm sitting there and now I want to quit, you know. And then I sat there for a couple of minutes, you know, boo-hooing to myself and feel sorry for myself. And then I kind of got that out of my system. I was like, okay, Comstock. I said, nobody's coming. Who's going to come and get you out of here? Nobody knows you're here. And if they did know you're here, nobody's coming out here and pick you up by the mud and carry you out, right? You're up to your knees in mud. You got to get on your own power. No helicopters flying. It's not going to fly. So I said, the only way you get out of here is you have to get out of here on your own. And so, and I thought, well, if I get out of here and I get up to the top of that mountain, I can quit up there, right? There's no rendezvous point. And so I started moving each leg, little pistons, you know, one at a time, you know, one step. Finally, I got out of it. Started making my way up the hill, get to the top of the mountain. There is the instructor, Cadre. And I remember thinking, this is it. I can quit right here. And I thought, Comstock, why would you quit now, man? You're on the top of the hill. You can roll back down if you need to. So my motivation started changing already, right? I had to get over that little moment, man. We all have
Just
moments,
throw your
man.
ruck down the
moment.
mountain.
I had my little moment there for a minute, you know, to, you know, feel sorry for myself and get it out. And so, and I thought, oh, shit, I'm not going to quit now. So, you know, I reported in, got my next grade coordinates and continued on.
Yay, let's go.
And so it's
Good
very
job.
challenging mentally. Physically, it's challenging. But when your body goes, that's when the mind goes. And that's what they're looking for. Who's got the mind to keep going when the body's...
All right, that was Dale Comstock talking on Delta Force selection. That guy is amazing. I like the way he describes things. I do. I like the way he describes things. It's a gift to be a very good storyteller, and I think he's doing a very, very good job. So, but wow, what a story. That was good. That was really, really good. The cupcake in the background caught me off guard.